All right, good morning, Master Healers. Just give everybody a second to log in here and say a little hello. Welcome back, everyone. Super excited for day 3 of our Pivot to Profit workshop. Excuse me. All right, give a little hi when you pop in and tell me where you're from. So today is day 3 of Pivot to Profit workshop. I just want to welcome you. Thanks for being here. Over the next few days and over the last couple days, I've really invited you to take action each day with what I've been teaching you and with what I've been training to look for yourself how you can begin to turn what I'm teaching and how I've implemented it in my practice, how you can start to immediately turn and switch that around to have it work for you in your practice. So everything that I'm teaching you has come from years and years and years of me practicing, perfecting, and getting it down to a science where it really, really works. And so I invite you again to take action. If you haven't completed the homework, go back, listen to the first couple of days, do the homework, reach out to me as many of you have done, ask for my support. I'm here to support you as much as you can because I really want you to leave the week having a solid plan of what it looks like for you to move forward outside of this week and this time that you've spent with me. So I thank you and I honor you for that. So Monday we covered, how to fill your schedule. We did a solid referral program there, a solid video program that I introduced you to. And also we worked on like your pricing, your scheduling, how to get all that out of the way. Yesterday we worked on conscious communication, how to begin to create those touch points of every single time you're going to engage with one of your clients. What's the conversation that you already are going to have with them? And then you're going to tweak that each time so it's intuitive based on what their needs are. But if you already know what your base point is, you already know the journey you're going to guide them on, and that makes that conversation that much easier. Excuse me. So that was yesterday. And so part of your homework was to start creating some of those scripts, start to look at what your schedule is going to be, what your pricing is going to be, what days you're going to work, so you can start to create all of that language inside of your communication, and that's going to be inside of the journey that you're going to take your clients on. Then yesterday we also covered what's the experience you want your clients to have, before they come to see you. What's the experience you want to have for that first interaction, whether it's social media or through a referral or through networking. From the moment they park maybe in your parking lot to the moment they enter your home or your office or your treatment room, what is that experience you're creating for them? That's part of that entire journey and so important and oftentimes overlooked in therapists and in healers, wondering why their practice isn't building, because there's those little details that do make a difference. Excuse me. And then today we are going to work on strategically preparing, like how to start taking that information and start weaving it into a plan so you can hit the ground running by the end of the week. Tomorrow we're gonna do some live coaching, going through and kind of dissecting one of the plans that you've created this week so you can get a feel for how I can support you moving forward in the future through some of the live coaching for tomorrow. And I'm really excited to just be able to go through what you've created in your homework and go through that plan with you tomorrow. And then finally, Friday, we'll do some live engagement with some others that have been in my mastermind. And so I'm super excited to just be able to give you a feel and some feedback for how important it is to have support and accountability when it comes to implementation of your plan. All right, so that's kind of a layout for what we've done the last few days and what we're gonna do today and then what we're gonna do the rest of the week. So we're kind of midweek here, so you made it this far, congratulations. And again, I'm just super excited for you to be here. Welcome Paula, welcome Rick. Once you pop in, just kind of say where you're from and just say hi so I know where everybody's listening. So I wanna set the stage for today, which is on strategy planning and what the processes are. So the processes today are strategy goal setting and analysis of those goals. What does that look like? Strategy creation, strategy implementation, taking action, And then also strategy for accountability and support. What does it look like once you've created that plan? How do you actually start to implement it and to stay on track as you move along, whether it's a 30-day goals or 90-day goals, or for the next 6 months, or even for the next year? Like, what is between today and next year, June 1st, look like for you? There's a lot of time that you get to completely transform your practice, and I know that you can do that. And that's, I mean, everything I've done over the past 18, 20 years has been just that. And I'm giving all that to you in here just a few short days for you to be able to take that and implement it into your plan for the next year. So I want to give you a little bit of background just to who am I? I haven't really talked too much about this yet. I think it's important for you to know, like where this information has come from as far as, my leadership and my coaching, and, where I've gained a lot of my knowledge, as well as just hands-on on the table and learned experience, but also what's my background? What do I bring to the conversation? And so I did my initial massage training back in 2000. I started it back in 2001 at SWIHA, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts here in Phoenix, Tempe, Arizona. And I completed my master's program there with SWIHA. Postgraduate, I did some medical massage training. I studied with a Russian sports doctor out of LA who also specialized with Olympics. I did about a 3-week Thai massage yoga training in Thailand. I did yoga training in Costa Rica. And then here locally, I did a 12-month conscious breathing workshop to really integrate breathing with, with body work and with healing, and how crucial breath is to all of that process. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Anne. And so that's been, a lot of my massage hands-on training background, as well as I've done, thousands of hours of other workshops and training inside of massage that I've put all that into. Those are my modalities, and I intuitively work with however, I'm going to bring and approach my, work to that client. So again, thinking for yourself, like, what's your bio? What's the modalities that you're bringing? What's the passion that you're bringing behind the work and behind the implementation that you're doing? And then taking that a step further, a lot of the personal growth that I've done thousands of hours of personal growth work. I started out in 2006 working with Landmark Education, doing their coaching and leadership program, and I coached their leadership program for about 2 years, as well as completed their communication courses, which are masterful. I highly recommend if at any point you're looking to do some really good communication courses, Landmark Education has a fantastic communication course. And then I went all the way through personal growth with PSI seminars, did all of their programs as well as their leadership program, coached that program as well, 1 or 2 times, I can't remember, at least once, and have met some phenomenal people out of doing that, but also just really continued to develop my own leadership when it comes to coaching and listening and implementation. I've hired business coaches, I've hired personal coaches. I've been part of BNI, Business Networking International. I was president of a chapter for a couple of years, so I've developed that leadership and been able to just guide a team. I have participated in Kelly Roach Coaching, which is a $18,000 program where she really goes through how to launch your business, launch your program, and be able to really implement that inside of your business. I have completed Tony Robbins' Business Mastery, Date with Destiny, Unleashing Power Within, which were all of his live events, which were all really phenomenal programs to be just part of. And then also I was part of a small select group of individuals. Good morning, Corinne. I was part of a small group that was about a 10-year program that ran here locally in Phoenix through APS, the electric company. They put on a master's business program, and only about 20 businesses a year were part of that. It was an application process. They usually got about 120 to 150 applicants each year. It was a 2-year program, and I was in one of their final classes, their final 2-year programs in that, and just learned a ton about just implementing my own business, how to just tweak things, how to do some marketing, how to do some sales, different things like that. So I tell you all that to say, like, that's all that information and knowledge and time that I have spent, plus my hands-on 18, 20 years being on table. I bring all that information and knowledge to you to really support you in your learning curve so you can hit the ground running, and it won't take you as long to hit some of those points in your business that you really want to hit. So I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that it's Wednesday and that you've stuck around. So thank you very much. It's just, it takes a lot, right? To take time away from your schedule, even now, even though some of us aren't as busy as we have been in the past, and some of us are even busier than we have been. So I just really honor each of you being here, and thank you so much. It means a lot to me to be able to serve you and to be able to give you this information to support you as a healer in going and having a thriving practice. Like I've said it several times over the last several weeks and several times over the past couple days, I believe now more than ever, the world needs us as healers with our modalities, whatever they are, to step up and have thriving practices. Because in my opinion, us having thriving practices means that we are working with and healing more and more and more clients. And that means that we are making a difference in the world that is much, much needed. So I thank you and I honor you for being here. And that means everything to me that you are taking that time. And then the last part of that I add to this whole conversation is masterminds. I created my first mastermind back in 2006 with a good buddy of mine, Gordon Cowie, and a couple of other friends of ours. And we did that based off of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we hired a coach to actually guide us through that entire process. And that was about a 2-year mastermind that we ran together. It was a lot of fun, a huge learning experience for all of us that were in it. And then, I participated in Brendan Bouchard and Dean Graziosi's $20,000 masterminds through Growth Summit. I did that in 2018 and 2019. And then I've been leading a mastermind and been part of the leadership team of that mastermind here locally in Phoenix since 2017. So a couple of years now that we've been, almost 2.5 years that we've been in that. And so I have a lot of passion and experience when it comes to, listening and coaching and implementation and taking all the information and the failures, the many, 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 many failures that I've had over the years and the many successes that I've had over the years to share all of those with you to help you, again, have that thriving practice that you deserve and that the world is craving and needs right now. So with that being said, I feel like accountability has been and has led to my success and has been that driving force for myself and my business. Left to my own devices, I know I'm prone to be lazy. I am, believe it or not, actually more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. So there are many things that are very, very uncomfortable for me being an introvert. I'm kind of on the edge of introvert, extrovert. But however, I am very comfortable just being quiet, being alone, not doing a lot of social activities. Even though I do love social activities and thrive with them, it is left to my own devices. I can easily curl up on my sofa, binge watch Netflix, and get absolutely nothing done. So accountability and putting myself in leadership roles and putting myself in places of accountability is what has supported me in growing and moving and breaking through my fears and my, having courage to be able to do things that I was very uncomfortable doing for many, many years. Even doing this, like talking live in front of people. I remember the first couple of times I even shared at, Landmark Education, when I would get up and I would share in front of people, I would be so nervous to get up and share that by the time it came to be my turn, I would already have developed just a high intensity, like a cold sore or a blister on my lip because of the high intensity of nervousness that I experienced in my body because it was so uncomfortable for me. So I've come a long way in the last 14 years from being able to put myself in a fearful situation of sharing in public to now being able to comfortably be live and, comfortably public speak and do some of those things because I have practice and I really enjoy doing that. So again, thank you just for being here. So today we're going to look at let's see. So see there? After saying all of that. All right. So today we're going to begin to look at what are your next steps to begin to formulate your plan strategically. So our pillar number one today. Pillar number one is ask for help. It is so important to ask for help. I don't care who it is. And sometimes it is the hardest thing to do is to ask for help. And it was one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn over the years and years and years and years. And probably I would say might have taken me 18 or 19 of my 20 years of practice to start really asking for help. Yes, I've asked for help along the way, but man, had I started much, much earlier really asking for help, it would have made a huge difference in my practice. And so I beg you, like, that's number one for pillar number one, is just start asking for help. And what are you going to ask for help on? Well, we talked a little bit about that on Monday, asking your referral partners, making a list of those referral partners. Why do you want them to be a referral partner for you? And then asking for help. It is a very uncomfortable thing to do, and it works. So ask for help. It's our pillar number one. So one, starting off with those referral partners, starting off with, direct messaging me or leaving comments below, like asking the tribe, like, hey, what have you done in this situation? And asking for help. Use this tribe. That's why I developed this page, is for the tribe of master healers to come together and start to really engage with each other and to really support each other in, we don't have to have all the answers. I know I certainly don't have all the answers, and I definitely always work to eliminate in my mind thinking that I have to have all the answers. And so that way I'm also coming from my heart and being a lot more intuitive when I'm speaking or when I'm sharing or when I'm one-on-one with a client. So ask for help. Another way is by hiring out for some of that help. I took on supporting other entrepreneurs. So early on in my practice, probably in 2005 is when I first started doing this. So I'd been in practice about 4 years. And it was so much stress for me to do my own bookkeeping, for me to do my own taxes. And, over time, it was so much stress for me to continue to do all of my linens and washing and all the wash and laundry that I constantly had to do. And so I started just farming that stuff out. I found a fantastic bookkeeper that literally I've had for the last 15 years. I've had a fantastic CPA and accountant that I've used for the past 10, 12 years. I've had a fantastic banking relationship. I've had legal services that I've had those relationships with, so I ever need them. Insurance, all those kind of things, just kind of getting all those things in order, but also supporting others in supporting you, them being the professional and their expertise, taking care of that so you can focus, at least for myself, it allowed me to focus more of my time and energy on being a healer. Like, that was my mission, that's my purpose, that's what I wanted to focus my time on. It did not serve me to focus my time on doing my taxes or to do my bookkeeping or to spend the hours amount of time, maybe even to cleaning my house. I mean, for a long time I've had a housekeeper just, every couple of weeks come in and clean my house, so I didn't have to worry about that. So I could actually just enjoy the peace and quiet when I'd come into my home and just relax and rejuvenate so I could show up every single day for my clients. So, hiring out for some of those other professionals, creating your social media, getting all those going, beginning some of the postings so you kind of know what the culture you're wanting to create in your social media, and you can start asking your clients to check in, to engage. You can start creating some value for them between sessions, creating your social media. But over time, that may be something that you want to farm out to, a young college student that is really good on social media, that can learn your language and start to even reply and comment for you. Or you can always do that on your own. I personally like to do all of those comments for myself. I actually do. Whether they're great or not, I don't know. And I always measure that by the interaction and the engagement. But I've almost always done all of my own posting and social media creations and images that I've done and things like that. And I've looked at what has and hasn't worked. And I've also just used that to measure. I'm always competitive with myself. And I'm always looking at what isn't working. So let's see, what else under asking for help? And I always just have the philosophy of my job is to be a healer, and my job is to show up for my clients. And, I also am an entrepreneur. And so really being able to support other entrepreneurs in their business was always a passion for mine. It's like me just, giving back in some way and just supporting that community. So pillar number one, ask for help. Pillar number two, moving right along, is be uncomfortable and stretch yourself. Be uncomfortable and stretch and challenge yourself. Sometimes, again, I said it earlier, it's so easy for me to get really comfortable. And it's so easy for me to, when I'm done working for the day, just plop on my sofa, grab some food, watch some Netflix, and not exercise and not engage and not do any of that extra work that I need to do. So it really has taken me putting myself in those leadership roles. It's taken me having accountability partners that I work with that keeps me on track, keeps me on task. And sometimes on track is having downtime, giving myself space and grace to rest and rejuvenate without all the chatter in my head. As an entrepreneur, you always feel like there's something more you could be doing. Always, always, always. And so sometimes I just have to tell that to shut the F up and allow myself a little bit of space and grace to rejuvenate and to heal, and some quietness to listen. It's oftentimes in that quietness where I get the best answers for what's next and how to move forward. So taking time, just to really be uncomfortable, stretch and challenge yourself. Taking time to dream. What does it look like? Why are you doing what you're doing? Besides, how fulfilling it is to be a healer, there needs to be more, and I see it oftentimes missing with healers, is taking the time to play and to dream, and to be able to create this lifestyle that is worthy of you being alive and you being a human being. So for me, I love to travel. And I always try to have at least what my next trip is. So once I go on a trip, if I don't already have it scheduled, the moment I get back, I've scheduled my next trip. So I always have something that I'm looking forward to in my future for all the hard work I'm doing. So travel for me, and I've taken some incredible trips from like Costa Rica and Thailand, like I mentioned, to almost all over the United States. I love traveling to cities in the United States, like Chicago and San Francisco and Seattle, San Diego. Just having little getaways. One of my favorite cities is South Beach. Visiting my friend Linda down in South Beach, just hanging out with her. But I've spent a month in Italy and Greece and Amsterdam. A couple weeks in Amsterdam. And just those are so rewarding for me, and to be able to go with people that I love, that I can laugh with, that I can just create with and be intuitive with, inspiring. I love that. So dreaming for me is important. And even just simple things like, how do you want your home to be? Do you want flowers in your home? Get flowers for yourself on a weekly basis. It's part of that self-care, that self-love that allows you, it's just one little simple detail, but it allows you even more to show up refreshed, rejuvenated, and in love with who you are to your clients. So you're filling yourself up all the time. Having the mental mindset for me has been so important. And I worked on mental mindset. I really started working on that initially when I mentioned earlier, just starting in 2006 with doing landmark education. I really, when the concept was first introduced, like you've always got this voice in your head, this running. And even now, while I'm speaking, this voice is still running, and it's always analyzing and chatter and throwing in its own, BS about whatever. And I remember even arguing with that voice, and then finally, hearing them say, "Oh, you can't ever change. Your mind's always thinking." And how I interpreted that, and how I heard that, is that you couldn't change your thoughts. And so I went on a mission of really practicing changing my thoughts. So my thoughts were in alignment with what I wanted them to be in alignment with and what I was thinking about. And so I started a practice of, there was a meditation that I fell in love with. It was about an hour long. And it was it was exactly like just with mantras that I loved. And I would put it on really quiet at night, and I would have it just repeat all night long. And I listened to that meditation for about 7 years. On quiet while I slept. And good morning, Rebecca. And then what I noticed, I started listening to that during the daytime. And what I noticed is that a lot of what I was hearing at night in that meditation had started to transform into my thoughts. And that's what I was actually speaking and thinking and saying during the day. However, I still found that my mind was running amok sometimes and thinking thoughts that I didn't want it to be thinking. And so I started just having triggers set up for myself. So whether it was, hearing a fire alarm, not a fire alarm, but like a fire truck go by, or a car honk, or seeing a homeless person on the side of the street, or whatever it was, or having it in a movie or hearing a song or anything, I just set up triggers where I would constantly remind myself to say a mantra. And the mantra that I used for many, many years was the Ho'oponopono. And many of you here being at this page have, I'm sure, heard of that, and some people still have not, but it's the Ho'oponopono, and it's the I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I started using that when I would notice that I was thinking negative thoughts in my head, especially if I noticed there was judgment about myself or if there was judgment about someone else. I would immediately notice that I was in judgment, and then I would immediately just switch that to the Ho'oponopono. And I practiced that for years and years and years and years, until oftentimes I'd find myself waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I would immediately just start, that would be the first thought I'd be thinking. Or I practice gratitude. Gratitude is so key, and we haven't talked a lot about it so far this week, but I'm telling you, it is one of the number one factors that I practice to keep my mindset, my mental mindset, in a state that I want it to be in, that keeps me where I want it to be, keeps my vibration high, keeps my frequency high, keeps me full and filled up so I can serve my clients even better. So gratitude is key. If you don't have a really solid gratitude practice, direct message me, comment below. I will definitely support you in some ways, and some books and some techniques that I've used to have a really solid gratitude practice. And again, that's one that I have practiced so much that I do. It's the first thing I think when I wake up in the morning. I just immediately am thank you. And it sounds so silly, but it also is a way of me waking up, or when I'm drinking my water, or when I'm eating my food, or anything, like when I'm working on a client, or when I'm ending a session with a client. It's just such an easy way to come back to that space of gratitude, because it is so important, and it is seriously what has kept my practice thriving and full, is being grateful for every single interaction that I have with a client. Every time I exchange money with a client, every time that I'm with a client, always. At the end of the day, there were several years when my hands would hit my steering wheel, and I would literally just burst into tears of joy from gratitude for being able to do what I do, and being able to receive the money that I was making for the gifts that I had to give to people, and the difference that I was making with people. That just meant everything to me. And I would sit there in the parking lot sometimes just crying, bawling, like literally chest heaving, bawling, just from such gratitude for the gifts that I'm able to give and the difference that I'm able to make with people. So gratitude, I can't say enough about it. And then next, what I really developed over the last couple of years is this. So we're on pillar number 2 still. The next point to that is a morning routine. I think having a morning routine is so important. I'm proud to say I've practiced morning routines for a long time, and I've heard of other people's morning routines and what they do. And I've always been someone who wanted to have a morning routine, and I've never been consistent about it. And now finally I have a morning routine, and it's been probably almost about 6 months now, maybe longer, but it's a morning routine that really works for me. So I have my alarm set for 6:20 every morning, and I'm a numerologist. I study numerologist, so 6 and 2 is 8. So it means that I'm getting up at 6:20 when my alarm goes off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1's Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get up, I go immediately, and I drink a quart of water. I have this big old quart that I drink within a minute. I have that thing full. I drink it within 5 minutes. I walk from my bed to my phone, which is in the other room, turn off my alarm, walk straight to the sink, drink my quart of water. From there, I kind of walk around a little bit, just kind of saying thank you, waking up my body, maybe use the bathroom, get dressed, get my walking shorts on, and then I walk my 10,000 steps. I do that. I do that first part of the morning routine every day. And then after that, I do my 10,000 steps. I do that at least 4 or 5 times a day, or not a day, 4 or 5 times a week. And then I do a walking meditation while I'm doing that. And I do that at least 3 or 4 times a week. And then I do a sitting meditation at least 2 to 3 times a week, either on the same days that I've done the walking meditation or on top of the other days. And then I give myself a couple days of just rest, to do absolutely nothing, to either sleep in. But I know it's important to let my body rest and also let my mind rest. So even with my morning routine, as much as I love it, giving myself those couple days of rest what I've noticed for myself has me look forward to getting back on my routine as quickly as possible. And so it's a really simple, easy morning routine. And then the couple most important things that I do in my morning routine is That entire morning is just for me. I do not schedule clients before 12:30. I actually don't schedule anything in my calendar before 10 o'clock. So this is the earliest, like doing this live at 10 o'clock is the earliest that I ever schedule anything. And I typically try to do anything like this between 10 and 12, but definitely I, don't schedule any clients before 12:30. That again, like honors myself. It helps keep me fresh and ready for my clients throughout the day. So I work within that schedule. And then I fit my stuff, my personal stuff in before 10 o'clock. And then I do, my business preparation and growing my business between that 10 and 12 time. So it gives me that time slot every day to work on building my practice. So that's my morning routine. Hopefully that was helpful. Create your morning routine. I think it's so important to have. And then the last part of that I forgot to add in is that I also intermittent fast. And so I'll fast 16 hours. And I do that at least, again, 4 minimum to 5 days a week. And I have noticed a huge, huge difference in my body with inflammation. There's so much research and science, especially for men with intermittent fasting. There's so much research and science how it's really good for men, but it's definitely helped decrease inflammation in my body. It's helped me sleep better. It's helped my digestion a whole lot more. So there's so many benefits that I've noticed for myself, but also just there's so much science behind intermittent fasting that's really, really good for you. So that's my morning routine. Create your morning routine. I'm gonna actually add that to our homework. I had not done that. So that's gonna be an added piece because today's homework is pretty easy. All right. So I talked to you about the mantra that I had, right, to help keep my thoughts on track. So I used the Ho'oponopono for many, many years, and then I've switched now. I still use the Ho'oponopono, but I've switched now to, I follow, oh my God, his name is he slipped my mind. Anyway, I follow it's on the slip of my tongue. Meditation. Anyway, I follow his walking meditation, and he talks a lot about just about blessing your centers and blessing them with love and blessing with the peace and blessing with harmony and joy. And so I do a lot more of that now with myself and with others. And boy, have I noticed immediate changes by simply every time somebody comes to my mind, whether it's a client or one of my kids or a family member or an ex-partner or lover, just the fact that they've come into my mind, I honor them by blessing them with love. I bless them with peace. I bless them with joy. And so Joe Dispenza, thank you, Amanda. Joe Dispenza is who I was talking about. So I use his mantra of just blessing my different centers with joy and with love. Thank you, Amanda. I was like, oh, I hate that when that happens, when I can't think of a word. But I've only been practicing that now for about 6 weeks, but I have noticed some immediate changes, like even, people calling me out of nowhere, just because they have come to my mind and I've been blessing them with love. So that's just how strong our connection and our energy is, especially when it comes to people in our sphere, as well as our clients. Like we really can manifest clients coming into our practice by simply blessing them with love when they come to our mind. All right, so let's move on now to pillar number 3. What's next in your plan of action? Do you know where you're going to be over the next 30 days, over the next 90 days, and even over the next 12 months? Like, do you have that written out? Do you know what that looks like? And do you know how you're going to implement being able to get there? I mentioned that earlier, is like knowing the information that I've taught this week actually will make no difference for you unless you actually take the time to begin to discipline yourself to create some new habits, to discipline yourself to take time to implement what I have shared with you. And what I've shared with you are all the tips and techniques that I use, like down to the exact script that has created that 6-figure income for me. So you may not want a 6-figure income, you may not want to work that hard. Yet, if you use still the techniques and the tips and the scripts and the strategies that I've given you, and then tweak it for your modality, whatever that is, whether it's jewelry making with Jen Derricks in there, or whether it's being an NLP practitioner with Farron, who I worked with a few weeks ago and created this beautiful 6-figure practice with her. Whatever it is, take it and tweak it, implement it, and then direct message me. Let's set up that consultation for you so I can go through and kind of tweak it and break down and see if there's any holes in it so you can start really hitting the ground running once we're done here. All right, so, and again, like I said, like knowing, we all know, for example, we all know as healers that a person being on in our space or in our healing modality, our session, our table, or whatever you want to say, one time is not going to make the kind of difference that's long lasting. That's not going to make the kind of difference that takes to be able to release some of that old muscle memory, to release some of those old habits, and to start creating some new habits, some new disciplines, some new posture corrections, some new mental state to be able to do what it takes to have this plan happen. We all know all the facts about what it takes to lose weight. Eat less, eat healthier, exercise, drink more water, get good sleep. Yet, how many of us are not where we want to be when it comes to losing weight? So knowing makes no difference. What makes a difference is taking the information and taking the knowledge and being able to have the accountability and the support that guides you, or having a coach that guides you through where you are now to where you want to be. And that's definitely where I'm passionate about doing that, is coaching and supporting people in that process. So to be able to develop that new muscle memory, I'm going to even talk to my clients about this. This is why I create a treatment plan with my clients. I don't want them to come see me one time. I do not, and I tell people this when they want to schedule with me. I'm like, I'm not a one-stop shop. If you want to get a massage, just a regular Swedish massage, I can do that if you want to give me your money. However, that is not my gift. That is not my specialty. That is not what I am really good at. I'm really good at doing a full body reset, like finding all those places of your body that aren't working for you, all those places in your body that are not in harmony, all those places that you didn't even realize were robbing you of energy and joy and peace and freedom. We release all of those and then start to restore all of that harmony and peace and freedom and love back into your body, so you are able to sleep better, so you are able to get out there and develop your practice, so you are able to be the best in your business or the best in your relationship, or whatever that looks like. Those are the kinds of results that you get with that ongoing accountability and support, whether it's, for my clients being on the table, or whether it's with clients that I coach, is like that ongoing support. And that's why I put myself in those roles, is to be coachable and to learn from others who have gone where I want to go, so I learn from them. And we've all probably heard the saying that you are the sum of the 5 closest people that you hang out with. So it's really important to see who you're hanging out with. How much income are they making? Are they disciplined how you want to be disciplined? Are they at the body style and weight and physicality that you want, like the physicalness that you want to be? Are there people around you that have the mental health that you want, that do the personal growth, that maybe travel? Like, who are the people that you're surrounding yourself around is so important when it comes to this pillar number 3, taking what your dreams are and then putting those into action. And that's partly why I created this tribe right here, this group, this tribe of master healers, is to begin that conversation. I said it earlier in today's live, is to be able to support each other as healers, to brainstorm with each other, to share ideas, to share failures, to share questions, to share successes, so we can celebrate each other, so we can, give each other support and feedback for questions that we have. We don't have to be alone. We do not have to figure all this out by ourselves. I've created this tribe for that very reason. And inside of the profitable master healers mastermind, we get in that even deeper. Like, we really get into why, like what's working and not working, and we get into really having an accountability partner and support individually for every single person. So you take what your goals are and you get them to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level, and you look back a year from now and you're like, wow, I could still be where I'm at right now and having done nothing, or I could be looking back a year from now and be super proud of the fact that I put in the work over the last 12 months to get to where I'm at now. And I can look back for myself, and I know that. And the only reason I've reached the level of success that I've reached is by consistently putting myself into personal growth, consistently putting myself in uncomfortable situations to challenge myself so that I can grow, consistently putting myself in personal growth and seminars so that I can experience being in an environment with other people like that are growing. And I have met some incredible friends. Actually, almost all of my friends, I'd say 90 to 95% of all of my friends and all the people that I communicate with and hang out with on an ongoing basis, I have all met through those personal growth live seminars and interactions, whether it's been at Tony Robbins. As a matter of fact, on the live cast this week, we were supposed to have Brett from, and he'll probably hear this when he's listening because he's listening later, but he lives in Australia. We met in line at Date with Destiny at Tony Robbins, and it was a very long line when you're waiting there for your badge, and we just struck up a conversation and we became friends. And then we've just had this ongoing, every now and then we touch base online on Facebook, but he lives down in Australia and he's working with healers and he's developed this beautiful retreat center for healers. And I'm like, dude, let's keep in contact. And when he saw I was, hosting this, he was going to wake up and be here at 1 o'clock in the morning every day. And he had just done that recently on something else. He's got 4 kids. And then, last minute Sunday, he's like, I just can't do that right now, but I'm going to listen to it on the after hours and then I'll get your feedback and we'll work together. So, surround yourself by those kinds of people that inspire you, that you want to be around, that you want to become. All right, so let's move on to pillar number 4. So I've talked a little bit about it. For me, I've been involved with masterminds. I've gone to all these live events with Tony Robbins and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brendon Burchard and Landmark Education and PSI seminars and all of the other, programs that I've done for my healing practice. And in the back of my head, I've always wanted to specifically have a mastermind like this, like here, this tribe of master healers, where it was just for healers. And healing can look, with intention and context, healing can look a lot of different ways. And that's why I encourage photographers to even be in this group. Because I feel like when I look at a piece of photography, it's one of my favorite forms of art. And I feel like when I look at that, I am moved emotionally in such a way that it's healing and bringing up some kind of memories in my DNA and my tissue that stimulates some kind of emotion that I get to be with. So there's something very healing about photography. That's why I invited Jen Derrickson to be in the group. And she's been active and engaged all week. But I think there's something so beautiful about custom designing jewelry and being able to sit down with someone and create this conversation that's very conscious, that creates this piece of beautiful, amazing jewelry they're going to wear all the time, whether around their neck or on their hand or on their wrist, where not only does it touch them with something special, but also every time now someone sees that, it's very special. So that's, for me, that's healing. That's making a difference. That's motivating someone to engage in a conversation or to say, hey, that's a beautiful piece. Where did you get it? So, I started this initially just wanting to really work with massage therapists, and then I'm like, gosh, that's so limiting. There's so many aspects of healers that are so important. And that's when I started reaching out to NLP practitioners and coaches and photographers. I've actually showed my method to several photographers, and they've tripled their business just from using the same methodology that I showed you in day 1 and day 2. So it works. It works, but you got to take the action, and you got to have the support, and you got to have the desire and the discipline to create those new habits to make it happen. So today's been all about that. And, when I look at, answering, a lot of people know what a mastermind is, and some people aren't really sure what a mastermind is or kind of what the concept is behind that. But I'll go back to where I started studying masterminds was through the book Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill. And he quotes in there that no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. And so I look at that even in my practice as a healer. I know that when I come to the table to work on a client, that now when I open myself up, that client also is open up. We have their healers and their spirit guides and their angels and whoever in the background that's supporting them being healed. And now combine that with my team of healers that I know that I work with, and all that is, it's so important to be able to be intentional about working with that third mind, working with that, as a healer, knowing that there's more that comes to the conversation than just you or just your client. There's always that third mind. And so when you put that energy together, you come up with something really, really powerful. And that's why masterminds are certainly on the rise over the last couple of years, and even more so in the last year. You see mastermind popping up a lot more, at least in my sphere of influence. I do. That could be because I focus on it. However, I do see that it's popping up more and more, especially more than it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. But you think about it for a moment. This concept of mastermind with Think and Grow Rich was developed back in the early, this is over 100 years ago, this concept of mastermind. And here it is finally 100 years later that this idea of mastermind is finally really coming to fruition. Excuse me, where people are really starting to use that. So why I created Tribe of Master Healers, and then why I created Profitable Massage or Mastermind, Profitable Mastermind for Healers, is specifically so we could be as healers joined together in specifically that healing concept and really get the most out of our gifts, get the most out of expressing what each of your individual unique gifts are and your modalities and how you blend those together to come up and be the very best possible healer that you can. It's no different than being in a BNI or networking or anything like that. Like being able to be supportive in a network, in a mastermind of other healers is super powerful. And I encourage you to engage in this group and to use this group up to be able to become the best version of yourself as a healer. So that's a little bit about the concept of mastermind and why I get so passionate about it. So accountability, like I said earlier, has led to my success and has been the driving force for the success of my business. And left to my own devices, like I said, I am prone to be lazy. I am definitely prone to be lazy. And I am definitely prone to easily be an introvert and just sit and watch TV, watch Netflix. I don't watch TV, but watch Netflix and, do a whole lot of nothing. And so being in a mastermind has created that support and that accountability and that coaching that has been so crucial to me taking my life to the next level and my practice being a success. So there's some different key elements to a mastermind that I think work really well, that we work on in the mastermind that I lead. And it's one, clarifying your vision. What is your purpose or your goal that you want for your business as a healer? Like, we've gone through day one of the scheduling and the amount of money that you want to make and the journey and the experience that you want to take your client on. In day two, we talked about that conscious communication. What is that, those transitions, those touch points for each time you're with a client? How do you want that experience, that entire experience for your client to be? And what's that overall journey that you're going to be taking your client on? So we talked about that in day two. So really clarifying your vision, the purpose of your goal, and to clarify what that looks like moving forward in your business. So that takes all that out of your space for having to worry about that, and you can focus just then on being present with your client. So in the mastermind, we gather and we analyze all that information, and then we formulate a strategy that works for you. We look at ways that you're going to implement that strategy, and then we evaluate and keep looking at what's working and not working about what you have done so far. We set you up with an accountability partner and a buddy, so you have that constant feedback and that constant daily, if needed, or weekly, if needed, accountability and support to help keep you on track with sometimes those tasks, but sometimes just to be able to have someone that listens and helps support you and guide you, whether you're celebrating something or whether you're struggling with something. You have somebody that is just that count on. They're going to listen to you and be there for you. And that's, man, what a gift that is. And then last, we look at, in the mastermind is just having an accomplished coach like myself to be able to guide you through every step of the way. So you are reaching those goals that you've set for the next 30 days. You are going from maybe being an employee to an entrepreneur in the next 30 days. You're going and taking your practice to the next level over the next 30 days or over the next 90 days. Or you're going from where you're at right now And a year from now, what does it look like? And it can be completely transformed. Your whole business can be transformed. Your whole lifestyle can be transformed. Everything about how you know yourself right now, a year from now, can be completely different with the right support that you can get through accountability and support in a mastermind. So these are some of the results, that we start to address in the mastermind, and there's so much more to it. I've gotten, the networking that I've gotten, the relationships that I've developed out of masterminds, the people that I've met, through being in some of these masterminds has been absolutely life-changing, have become some of my best friends, and I cannot even imagine my life. I could sit there and imagine my life without it, and it would be very dull and empty compared to how my life is full and vibrant, being surrounded by people that I love, that push me, that help guide me, that embrace me, that are my biggest fans, that champion me, and that I get to do the same thing with all of them. And so that is my biggest passion, is to be that kind of support when it comes to you implementing what's next for you when it comes to mastermind. All right, or when it comes to developing your practice, so to speak. All right, so today's homework is super, super easy. One, complete day 1 and day 2 of your homework. All right, complete day 1 and day 2. Number 2 is schedule a one-on-one complimentary session with me once you're complete with your homework, so we can flush out any holes that might be in it. Like, that's the biggest gift that you can have, is somebody that's gonna poke holes in it to make it even better and better and better. You're gonna put all the ideas in there, you're gonna put your heart and soul into it, you're gonna love it. However, it's nice to have that third point of view to listen to it, to make sure there's no holes in it, and to make sure that it's gonna work. And I love doing that. I do that from a very compassionate, loving, supportive, intuitive, as well as inspired and creative point of view. I'm a very, very curious human being. That's how I come to my body work. That's how I come to every conversation, is with curiosity. It's one of the first words that I use in all of my engagement with everything, is that I am a curious person. And that has served me well. And I encourage you to steal that from me and take that on and become someone who's very, very curious. It has worked well for me to serve me very, very well. So those are your 2 things for homework. I mentioned something earlier and I don't remember what that was. Oh, yes, it was your bonus homework today was to create your morning routine. I want to hear what your morning routine is. All right, so that's your homework. One-on-one, I mentioned your second part of your homework was the one-on-one consultation. So one-on-one consults will leave you feeling confident in the work that we have done this week. And I want to help you be able to customize your plan. Like I said, make it solid so you hit the ground running by the end of the week. And I want to help you with that and help you make your plan that you've created this week a new reality for yourself. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a live interaction with Paula. Thank you, Paula, for volunteering to do this with me. Paula and I have actually never met. We were introduced through, she was introduced to this group. We've been interacted just on this live feed. She's engaged in the tribe of master healers. We've direct messaged a couple times. We've never met in person. Paula lives down in Tucson. She's wanting to really take her practice, her massage practice, as well as some other things to the next level and really begin to have a breakthrough when it comes to asking for money, as many of you mentioned in the engagement in the Tribe of Master Healers. In this feed down, many of you have mentioned that it is tough to ask for money or to know how much money to ask for, or how do you put a value on the services that you're bringing, because it is such a natural thing that we're doing. It is hard sometimes and a challenge sometimes to justify what is the value that I'm going to actually put on that. So that is our homework. That is what tomorrow is going to bring. So definitely do not want to miss out on tomorrow. It's going to be super, super cool to see how we've taken everything from the week and how I'm going to go through that with Paula. And you're going to look at your own plan and you're going to make your own adjustments. And then when you and I get on that one-to-one on the phone, we're going to be able to engage with that and go a little bit deeper with that. So that's that. And then Friday, we're going to dive deep into some live interviews from others from the mastermind that I talked about and have them share some of their successes of why masterminds are important, what they've gotten out of the mastermind. And so I'm super excited about Friday. So again, I love you. Thank you very much for being here. I just honor you for taking the time to be here. It sounds cliche, but I know that your time is valuable and my time is valuable. And the fact that you're taking time to be here says to me that you value what you do. You value yourself, you value your time as a healer, you value your gift, and I'll say it again, it is time more than ever that we rise up as healers and we have thriving, profitable practices. For me, that means that we are healing more people in the world because we are seeing more and more people in our practice. So thank you for being here. I do love you, I honor you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Do your homework. Bye.